Hello, my name is Val Rodionov, and this is supplementary video for day 24. In my report for day 24 on my way to one meal a day diet or way of eating, I promised to provide details on each of the four items. They are, the first one, to reduce food intake, and I was talking about how I can get rid of 60 extra pounds of weight. Second was shift my diet to more towards food with more nutrients, rich with nutrients. And the third was to add more workouts. And the fourth was switch to one meal a day completely, which is my ultimate goal. So now I'm going to talk about each of them. So to reduce food intake, it means eat less. If I do 2 meals a day, lunch and dinner, means I would need to reduce the amount of food I eat. I've done it in the past and struggled with it because if I eat less, I feel hungry, I feel cravings, and it's difficult to keep myself from snacking. So, and the thing is, in my body, there's 60 extra pounds of whatever it is. You can even compare it. Yesterday was just out of curiosity. I decided to look up the human age where people are weighing 60 pounds. And it's about 9-year-old child weighs 60 pounds. It's about 28 kilograms. I said, oops, I don't have a child inside of me, but I can consider it as having an alien which is there in my body, and it requires care and feeding. So 60 pounds, lots of cells. So, and they want to eat. So if you think of it, so they require food. So that's one of the things. And I need to get rid of this alien. So that's the goal. And this is my journey. And lots of people out there have also aliens in them. Some have 30 pounds, others have 100 pounds or even more. So, and most of it is unnecessary stuff like fat and toxins. Mostly fat is there to protect our bodies, so it accumulates toxins that the body cannot get rid of. So that's one of the mechanics out there. And the thing is, once you have this extra weight and those cells, they require eating, like food basically, and you have to feed them. And it's difficult to get rid of them because they're kind of there, they want to eat, they want to survive to a degree. So the goal is to kind of gradually to get rid of it, not cut it out. I've seen people who were doing basically cutting out the extra fat with surgical procedures. Not a good way to go, definitely. I would not recommend doing it to anyone. So, second, shifting my diet towards more nutritious food. One of my favorite people who writes on nutrition is Dr. Furman. He wrote one of the book Eat to Live. And when I read that book several years ago, I was very impressed. He shows lots of different researches, and he basically his idea is he's saying that people, especially in America, most people do not get enough nutrition, and meaning minerals, vitamins, and good stuff for the body. So people eat lots of meat, lots of bread, lots of sugar, and there's no good nutrients that the body needs. So I like the idea. He has lots of recipes in his books. You can even find him online. Subscribe for all the recipes. The only thing is, it takes a lot of time to cook it all, to buy all the ingredients. For people who loves to do that, it's a way to go. I know that there are lots of people who love to cook, who love to do vegan diets and so on and so forth. It's admirable, but it requires a lot of attention, lots of time, and some investment as well. I've tried it multiple times, and it didn't. Not multiple, many times. I even was a vegetarian for 9 years, but it's been a struggle to eat healthy, to cook very nutritious, rich food. I want to eat meat. I want to eat steak. I want to eat milk products. So, and that's the reason I quit my being a vegetarian. Another third way, or third item: add more workouts. So, meaning exercise more, load the body so it burns the extra calories. It burns. It allows the body to cleanse, and also to control or induce autophagy. I'll talk about it in a little bit. So I'm already doing 4 kettlebell exercises, and each of them takes me 1.5 hours. So 6 hours of exercises, and pretty intense. So plus every day I'm doing some stretching and warm-ups and stretching. And I could have added more exercises like cardio, riding bike, eventually jogging when my body is lighter, but walking is fine. But it'll take more time out of my schedule. And the question is, do I want to spend more time exercising? Do I want to dedicate the rest of my life to exercising? In the end, the answer is no. I want to find a balance. One of my other idols in health studies or teachings, he says, everyone, in order to have great health, great body, you have to exercise 2 hours a day, every day. 2 hours a day, 7 days a week, 14 hours. That's quite a lot, but doable, but quite a lot. Again, there's a choice. Do I want to exercise more and have healthier, younger body, or do I want to exercise less and enjoy life in other ways? In any case, so that's what and also I have considerations. I was exercising too much when I was a teenager for 6 or 7 years, lots and lots of strenuous exercises, and I got sick of it. Like, I didn't like it. It was too much. It was lots of waste of time, especially when you run for 4 hours or do skiing for 4 hours. And I didn't like it. So I would rather do something for fun, so it benefits my body and I get pleasure out of it. So number 4 is switch to 1 meal a day. So this is what I'm doing right now, I'm on my way to 1 meal a day. And so and the reason is 1 meal a day. Why 1 meal a day? I've heard in the past a very interesting story, and actually that story changed my life. It was in my 20s. That's the other story that I mentioned once, but I promised to tell this story, and actually I'm going to tell it right now. So we were discussing health, how to eat correctly, how much one should be eating, and that's when I was telling a story the other day in the beginning of my series, somewhere day 3 or 4, I don't remember exactly, when I told the story about an Asian assassin or a warrior who ate a bowl of rice very slowly for within several hours. So the other story at the same time from the same friend of mine was his uncle and aunt were professional athletes during Soviet times, and they were professional athletes, and they were training a lot. And it's like at that time, Soviet athletes were expected to beat everyone in the world because it was related to dignity of the country, to support or to say that Soviet Union is the best athletes and so on and so forth. At that time, most of the professional athletes that competed were part of Russian army, so they were fully supported by government. So they didn't need to find a job. They were fully under government support. The only goal was to exercise and beat everyone in the world. So socialism is to show that socialism is the right system. So, and people are prospering, and the best athletes are Soviet people, and so on and so forth, which was not the right way to go, definitely. And because of that, people were exercising too much, to the extreme, like every day, like full day. I don't know how many hours, but while they were exercising and doing all their routines, and while they were younger, they had great results, great health, lots of power. But when they retired from where they were sports retiring age, I don't know, it was 35 or 40 years old, they could no longer compete, and they were doing other work, let's say being trainers or something else. And the thing was happening, their bodies started getting sick. Various issues, I don't remember exactly what it was, let's say liver issue or kidney issue or heart issue. So they would go to the doctors, best doctors then in Soviet Union. They would give them some pills, some medicine. They would take those medicines, and let's say they improve their blood pressure, but something else breaks, like kidney stones or something, whatever. So, and they were at the level where their body started breaking, and they didn't know what to do. And they met one of their friends, told them there is a underground club, health club in Soviet Russia. Then it was kind of almost prohibited. You couldn't form clubs, and so people, when they had some special interests that were not okay with Soviet government, they would form some underground activities. But it wasn't something against socialism, but it was still kind of in hiding. So in that health club, they were promoting fasting or body cleansing and low food intake. So basically, uh, the idea was they went to this club and they started to follow the instructions or guidance of the club members. So the first was to cleanse the body. So they did thorough body cleansing. I don't know what was involved. Most likely it's enemas and probably fasting. I don't know exactly. But the idea was that humans consume too much food, and the bodies at some points cannot handle the food, whatever they consume, and the bodies start to break down. So they accumulate lots of toxins, and the body starts crumbling down. Basically, it cannot heal itself, and so on and so forth. So, and the first step was to cleanse the body, and the second one to switch to the right diet. There was something on the number like the body needs 5% of what we put into it, typical diet, or 5 or 10%, whatever. And they did it. They spent half a year or a year cleansing their bodies, and they gradually switched to that diet, consuming very little food. And the idea was when your body is completely clean, it takes food and it can extract everything it needs from that food and function at a perfect health level or at a very good level. And that idea, plus the story with the Asian warrior, those two changed my attitude towards food and towards health. And the other part of the story, when his uncle, I believe he was about 50 or 60 years old when he switched to that diet and when he was able to cleanse the body. And when he was going, and he still worked, and was one of the examples that was shocking to me. He said when he was going, my friend was saying that uncle went to a business trip. It's a 2-day business trip, and he took 4 dates. Dates are those sweet, I don't know, fruit that, excuse me, that you grown in multiple countries, lots of them grown in Egypt. I like the date syrup and just date they're really called berries, probably dried dates. So he took 4 of them for 2 days of a business trip, and the idea is it's sufficient for a human body in perfect health to have 2 dates per day to feed it and satisfy all the needs, basically. That was very shocking to me. But the idea was so deep, it kind of penetrated through my essence, basically. And that's one of the main reasons I started doing my research. I don't know the story, any other stories about his uncle and aunt. All he told me that they were able to get rid of all their illnesses, and they switched to the new way of eating, which was minimum food. I don't even know how that club was called, or what study or principles they were following. The idea was to cleanse the body and eat very little food, so the body can work perfectly on a little food. And when I started doing my research and studies, started doing fasting, I learned how food, like fasting works. It allows you to cleanse the toxins and rejuvenate the body. One of the things with fasting, at least for me, it's difficult. Let's say if I do 10-day fast or 40-day fast, there's lots of stress on the body. There's cravings in the beginning. There's lack of energy, toxins going to the bloodstream. Sometimes it feels horrible, and it's difficult to go through, especially that phase when there's lots of toxins go up. I know that if the body is completely cleansed, there's minimum of toxins, then fasting goes smoother. There were some fasts that I went to, it was easier than others. And I guess my body is not capable of cleansing everything that I put into it, either with food or with like toxins from the environment, including chemicals, let's say cleaning supplies, or even air that we breathe when we drive or just live in megapolis like Los Angeles. In any case, so, and the very interesting, when I bumped into the study of intermittent fasting or one meal a day, and I found out that there's this mechanism called autophagy, which is basically eating where the body cells eat themselves the bad stuff that cell generates, like waste basically, and it can consume that waste and rebuild the cells. And this mechanism is being studied, and one Japanese scientist even received a Nobel Prize for it. So, and it's already it's not completely researched. I think it'll take a while to get to know all the mechanics, but the main mechanics are already known, and it's proven that this mechanism, autophagy, is responsible for aging, for health, and how body is. And an example would be, I've read lots of articles, and one of the articles was giving a very interesting comparison. Let's say when the body is young and healthy and autophagy works perfectly, everything is at a good level. So energy is high, the body looks good, the skin is perfect, and so on and so forth. When autophagy mechanism is not working properly, especially when there's too much food, there's not enough time for autophagy to kick in, the body starts accumulating toxins. And an example is imagine a kitchen. So kitchen is always like in the kitchen, there's always some activities, or at least at some time. Let's say you need to prepare dinner. So you spend time preparing dinner, and it's we can compare it with the cell. Cell is constantly working, doing something. So it's doing its functions. During doing its functions, it produces waste. And if to compare with the kitchen, we go to the kitchen, we start cooking, and there's some waste, some crumbs, some oil spilled here, spilled there, some dirt in the kitchen. After then we serve the food, and the kitchen can be a mess. So it requires cleaning. So we clean the knives, we clean the dishes, we clean the stove, and to keep it perfect, so that we need time. So let's say to cook beautiful meal, we need time to cut everything, to cook it, and so on and so forth. During the cooking, there's waste, and ideally, so everything is perfect, like delicious meal, beautiful served table, beautiful kitchen afterwards without any spots, and so on and so forth. So you need to direct an effort to do all of that. So and it could be another example about the same kitchen. If somebody doesn't look like to clean, or there's not enough time, or the cooking habits are very bad, and the stove is all oily and this thick of the layer of dirt and oil is thick, and it's kind of burned in and it's difficult to clean out. So, and that's how autophagy can be considered. So if the body is no longer able to cleanse out all the waste in those cells, the body starts getting older. So the skin doesn't look well. So the body functions become less effective. Extra weight goes in. The energy level drops, and so on and so forth. And the solution is to restore the autophagy level. Basically, it will allow to bring up the energy to cleanse of extra toxins, extra fat, and that's what I'm after. So is already proven how it works, and that the ways of inducing that autophagy is known, so, and proven. So one of them is to reduce amount of food in intake. So the other is to give body stress. The cells, the autophagy turns on when there's stress on the body's exercises. So, and the effective way is to reduce food intake to a minimum. So let's say I'd say to a healthy minimum. So one meal a day is a way to induce or start autophagy, make it more effective. So cells can get rid of the toxins basically, and can rebuild themselves, and so that's the body can receive more energy, get rid of extra fat, get rid of toxins, and so on and so forth. That's what I am after. So so yesterday, or whatever the date was, day 24. It means that I have 6 more days. I decided that I'm going to do 30 days on 2 meals a day, and then I'm going to switch to 1 meal a day. And I'm very excited. Scared a little bit, because I like to eat, and 1 meal a day is still a challenge. But I'm sure I can handle it. So I'm not planning, or I'm not swearing to do it to the rest of my life. My immediate goal is to get rid of those 60 extra pounds of that alien in my body, and increase my energy level and my condition. So that's basically the goal. And the last thing is this number 4, switch to 1 meal a diet, kind of covers the first one, to reduce food intake. So it will definitely allow me to do that. It will force me to do that. The second one is shift my diet towards food with more nutrients. Since my meals are smaller, it's 1 meal a day, I will think more carefully what I consume. So it will automatically be more nutritious food. And workouts, I'm not planning to increase the workout level for now, but I might. So if one of the reasons with when my body is heavier, let's say extra 60 pounds, it's heavy to carry it around. You just think, go to the gym and try to lift 60 pounds. That's a lot of weight. And once my body is lighter, it'll be easier to move around, of course, and I might increase my activity level. We'll see. So at this point, I told you my story that I wanted to tell a long time ago. And I told you about all those 4 points that I mentioned on my day 24. So that's the end of supplementary video for day 24. If you like this video, please like it, put the likes, subscribe to my channel, and tell your story. Write comments under this video. Share your stories, how you were able to improve. If it helps, if you got any data that helped you to improve your health, share it with others. Disclaimer, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not in the position to give medical advice, so please use all the data that I provide at your own risk and consult with licensed professionals. That's the end of this video. Thank you for watching. I wish you great health, happiness. See you next time.